Why aren't you live, you cunt? Okay. I think the audio is working. It says the audio is working. Doesn't necessarily mean it actually is, but we're going to assume it is until someone comments saying that the audio isn't working. And we are live as far as I can tell. Are we actually live? Okay. I think the audio is working. It says the audio is working. Cool. Cool. That's good to see. Hello, welcome to chat welcome to stream, everyone. Yeah, we are doing a JJK stream. We've never done one of these before, but the series has ended, so I thought we should at least discuss it. It is a series I talk about on this channel, even if I haven't made a video in a while about it. But now that it's finished and there's no more extra stuff to get added on, it's a lot easier to actually analyze it and make videos on it. So we should be getting some more JJK content in the near future. But I just want to kind of talk about the series because I personally think the ending was really good. We'll see if chat agrees or not, but we will see. And yes, I know this probably should have been the Record of Ragnarok chapter review stream, but JJK doesn't end very often. So the next stream will be the Record of Ragnarok chapter review, but until then, we'll just be discussing JJK instead. So let's keep the chat to JJK on the stream because I know how we are about shifting onto other mangas. So we'll kind of keep it focused a little bit. But anyway, actually getting to chat. Joe Hilbem, I've recently reread the Percy Jackson stories and the final fight there is oddly similar to the final fight in Gintama. I have read Percy Jackson. I'm just going to state that now. But that was like 15 years ago. I can't comment either way because I cannot remember at all what happens at the end of Percy Jackson apart from the Minotaur comes back with some golden armor and there's a flying pig MacGuffin. I really can't remember much outside of that. Doze, however you say it, welcome to chat. Weeb Guru, great to see you here. What's with the new gen endings? Yeah, a lot of endings have just kind of bunched up together. We've had quite a few of them in a short span of time. But I feel this is curious because generally most series like in Shonen Jump and stuff, and like Shonen series, don't have particularly well-liked endings. Like Naruto's ending is not liked at all. Bleach's ending was a bit of like history revisionism going with Bleach now, where like now that the anime is doing Thousand Year Blood War really well, there's now been this change that Thousand Year Blood War's always been loved and amazing when it really wasn't until this anime. Like, most of the community did not like Thousand Year Blood War, and they really did not like the ending of Bleach. But apparently people did like it, actually. It's a bit of revisionist history, but yeah, so generally that didn't have a good ending. FMA is like the only like of these shonens that has like a generally really good ending that people seem to like, but generally people don't like the endings. My Hero, for example, people did not like the ending of My Hero. I think it's just one really bizarre decision in that final chapter that I think kind of like sours the whole thing. I think overall the final chapter was fine. I don't think there was anything terrible about it. I think the fact that Deku got basically a handout at the end, starting the series with a handout and ending with a handout, was a bit weird. I think if he'd been doing hero activities on his own and he built the suit himself, I think the ending works fine. But the fact that he had to get like weird handouts was kind of weird. But you know, that's how we'll see. And yeah, and so we have a JJK's ending, which a lot of people aren't. I've seen very mixed things, but people like to hate on JJK anyway, so it's hard to say what the general actual consensus is if it's a good or bad ending, because you've already got the haters. that are just going to slander it at all chances, going about all the plot holes. And I don't think there's actually really... There are plot holes, but there's really not many of them, despite what people will say. I don't like Higuruma being alive. Hurt Sukuna. Also, Kenny got the all for one treatment. The Higuruma thing is just really bizarre to me. I just don't get it. Like, Higuruma, like, sacrificed himself was a really fitting end to his character. So, from a character writing standpoint, it's a bit weird. Also, logically, how did he survive that? Like, what? Like, I don't know. It was a bit strange. I do get they explain why. It was a bit weird. Higuruma surviving is just very bizarre to me. It is funny, like, how few people actually died in that final battle. Like, yeah. But yeah, Higuruma, I guess on the bright side, Higuruma's death wasn't, like, that impactful. I felt like, at least, like, the deaths we did actually get in this fight, like Kashimo and Choso were, like, really impactful, like, really well done deaths. So Higuruma's did feel a little lackluster, but obviously turns out he didn't actually die. Kenny got the all for one treatment. I don't mind Kenny going out the way he did. I think it fits his character quite well. In that, like, Kenny's always been about planning ahead. Kenny's always been about wanting to see what's next. Him dying without actually seeing his plan through to the end. Like, it just for me, it feels quite nice. Him having a death that kind of means nothing in the end, and it just kind of happens out of nowhere. I think on that aspect, it's quite nice. But I also think the fact that he died, basically just having fun with Takaba, I think was quite fun. I generally like the Kenny fight a lot, but I can understand why people don't like it. Okay, so basically the main antagonist, Kronos, takes control over the body of Luke. I do remember this now, actually. And Percy have to strike both of them down. Like, totally, just shonen Jump series. I mean, like, just general, like, you know, the most, like, standard battle shonens, if you know what I mean. Like, if we're talking like standard battle shonens, like, it's one of... obviously, there's tons of battle shonens that do actually have good endings, but I'm talking like the mainstream, like, battle shonens that the normies watch, basically. It's seinen, isn't it? What? FMA? Really? I would never count FMA as seinen, particularly. It might be, like, it's very shonen in that, like, it holds up the values of shonen really well. Like, it is friendship, teamwork, shit like that. Like, it has a lot of that in it. But yeah. At the end of the day, shonen and seinen are, like, kind of hard to define. I think the best way to define them is what magazine they're in, basically, I guess. But even that is, like, you can argue there are series that have run in shonen magazines that feel more seinen, but, you know, no, I'm talking about his use. This man wasn't explained when he should have. Sukuna not being explored is fine, but Kenny ate Eisenbro. I don't know. I feel we got quite a bit of Kenny, because Kenny's been around so much. Kenny does have quite a lot of, like, development, and I mean, like, yeah, Kenny has a lot of screen time, and Kenny does have a lot of explanation of the stuff he does. Like, at the end of the day, when it comes to Kenny, we know his motives, we know why he does what he does, and that's kind of it with Kenny. Like, we know enough of his backstory and why he does. Basically, Kenny boils down to a character who does shit for the sake of shit. Like, he does stuff because he wants to see novel ideas. He wants to see the new, and he wants to see new novel things. It's why, like, him being defeated by Takaba, like, the ultimate example of the most novel of things, with a power that literally manifests stuff out of reality. The one Culling Game player, well, he might not have, like, I do like the theory that Takaba wasn't even a Culling Game player. He was just a sorcerer who just didn't realize it. But the point is, like, him being the one Culling Game player that that Kenjaku didn't even know who he was, and defeated by, like, the one player that he had because he had infinite knowledge of, like, every Culling Game player. Like, he's always the mastermind of control, and in the end he wasn't, and he got taken by something completely by surprise, something completely out of his control. But at the same time, it was a satisfying death for Kenny, because what Kenny ultimately was looking for was novel and new ideas, and him actually being killed by a novel idea. But yeah, it's the kind of thing where I think it's fine. I have no issue with the exploration of him. I think the lack of merger getting any kind of, like, clarity near the end, I feel is a bit of a missed opportunity, just because the merger is a really cool idea, and we just didn't really get any mention of the merger at all. So I will agree the merger, I feel, is a bit of a missed opportunity. We need for him to explain his connection with Yuji far more. I personally don't think we need any Yuji stuff. The reason is that we as the audience, we know his connection to Yuji. Like, us as the audience, we know that. It's not information we need to know. And it isn't information Yuji needs to know either. Like, in story, Yuji probably knows. And the reason we know this is that Megumi and Nobara got letters from Gojo, both about their parenthoods. And Yuji says he didn't get a letter because Gojo already talked to him. So Gojo basically... It's speculation, but it seems like the subtext is there. The Gojo just found out and just told Yuji. And for Yuji, it shouldn't matter. Yuji wouldn't care about that. It's not important to for Yuji. Like, Yuji wouldn't give a shit. And that's kind of something Gege's talked about in interviews is kind of like a weird... It's a bit of a weird approach to writing where he doesn't write characters in the way that... What's the word? He doesn't write characters in the way that they fill roles in the story. Like, for example, Maki and Naoya weren't written to foil each other. It's just that he wrote Naoya as a byproduct of being a really important person in the clan. And as a result, he just kind of ended up being a perfect foil to Maki. He wasn't written that way. And that's how he writes his characters as people first rather than, like, plot points in the story. So if you're writing Yuji as a character... Yuji wouldn't care. So it doesn't really make any sense to bring it up around Yuji. I think that's why it was brought up to us outside of us. That's why I think it was brought up to it when it did, which wasn't involve a scene of Yuji finding out, because Yuji finding out isn't important. It doesn't change anything. Yuji wouldn't care. It's just not what Yuji's about. Also, here's a Record Ragnarok tier list idea, ranking the human fighters based on how historically accurate they are. That could be a fun stream. I'll write that down. Especially because some of them... We could already extend that even to how mythologically accurate some of the gods are. Because some of them are not accurate at all. But yeah, it's a good idea. Also, I hate when people call Kashimo a fraud. Because if it was anyone else besides Yuta would die. Kashimo's, like, low-key one of my favourite characters. I think he gets underrated so much. Both as a character, when he's impeccably written. Such an incredible character. And... Also, yeah, strength-wise. Like, strength-wise Kashimo, I still put him top 5 by the end of the series. Like, and maybe it's just outside of top 5. Outside of, like, you know, you got Gojo, Sukuna, massive gap, everyone else. I'd probably put... based on what we know of Kenny, I'd want to put Kenny above Kashimo. And it does, like, you could say that, yeah, because Kenjaku said to Kashimo, like, from how their conversations, it wouldn't really make sense that Kashimo wouldn't want to fight Kenny if he thought he was that strong. But, you know, Kenjaku lies all the time. So I would put Kenjaku above him. It's up to interpretation if you want to put Yuta above him. I think him and Yuta are pretty relative. Hakari, again, like, Hakari did actually beat him in the fight. But I think that's quite situational. Takaba, again, very situational. Like in the thing with Takaba is, like, if we're talking matchups, Takaba loses to Kashimo because Takaba won't kill. So it'll be a draw at the best. But yeah, I think Kashimo is a lot stronger than people think he is. He is the one of only 2 characters to 1v1 a, like, fully healed Sukuna. Nobody else does that. Original Demonic, hello, I'm late, sorry, no problem, we've only really just started and we're having some good discussions so far. That's fair, I'm the same way. I can think of the character first and see if they fit into what I want to do the plot. Yeah, it's an approach that if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I think it can be quite bad. Like, I think you can... It's a very good approach to a story from a character exploration standpoint. For making interesting plot, it can be a bit risky. But I think Gege's done it alright. What do you think of Nobara coming back? And what do you think... do you think we should have gotten a flashback? Nobara coming back, I look at it from, like, 2 points. In terms of being a shocking, awesome development and a really hype moment, it's excellent. It ticks all the boxes. It's so great. In terms of, you know... is it kind of like she comes back like an hour beforehand? Like, is it kind of like, what's the word? Like, is it a bit of an extension of disbelief to have her just show up when she does? Yeah. Do I wish we got more writing around her character afterwards? Yes, of course. Do I think with how the events laid out, there was really room for that. I don't know. Like, a flashback, given we were right in the midst, right at the climax, right at the ending of the Sukuna fight, I don't really think I think it would have affected the pacing too much to have some kind of flashback with her. But it is I like how it's handled from a cool hype moment, and how it allows Nobara, it allows Nobara, the main trio, basically, to defeat Sukuna, where it makes sense, because as we know, Nobara was not going to be out there like trading fists with Sukuna. This is like the only like feasible way she could be vitally important in saving Megumi and defeating Sukuna without it feeling like really weird. It's also why I've been saying for so long that Nobara's obviously coming back and going to be involved in the final fight right at the end, because her ability seems like tailor-made from inception to, fight Sukuna. Like, it seems like from like a writing standpoint, that's exactly why JJK would design their ability like that. Like, it just seems so obvious, and it obviously paid off. But yeah, it's hard where I'd want more development for her, but you got for the logistics of where in the story that's literally going to go. But where am I looking? Okay, I need to stop rambling a bit, because we're going through. Agreed, top 3 in the verse. Yeah, definitely top 10 at least for Kashimo. Yeah, definitely top 10, if not maybe top 5. We could do our own Gods Apocalypse fan roster in the future. That would be fun. I'll note that down as well. Kashimo can beat Yuta, because if Yuta ain't popping that domain against Curse Technique, Kashimo can beat Yuta, because if Yuta ain't popping that domain against Curse Technique Kashimo. Yeah, it's hard to work out matchups and stuff, and Kashimo doesn't really have that many feats. And it depends how you take Yuta saying Hakari's stronger than him. Like, you could take it as Yuta being humble, but there's loads of examples of Yuta being really not humble when it comes to valuing his own strength, so it's really hard how you want to value that. But I think they're relative at the very least. Kashimo versus Sukuna fan animation does Kashimo justice. I like when a character does something illogical and makes mistakes as long as it's in character. Yeah, and I think that works. Like, I think Yuta does a lot of stuff like that. Yuta feels like a really real character that does make mistakes. I do like how he's written like that. Where am I up to? I'm glad that Sukuna's weapon confiscation wasn't a timer. I had that on my list of bad outcomes. Yeah, Sukuna's like, the thing with Sukuna's weapon is Kamatoke. Kamatoke is so OP. Like, it's good that, like, the only time we saw it used really was against Kashimo, the only character who's like immune to lightning. But like, against the rest of the cast, that would have been absolutely devastating. So it's really good they removed that off the board. Oh, let me say this: Yuta should have copied Nobara's technique. Why didn't he do that? There's a lot of questions with why Yuta did not copy certain techniques and not. It's a bit bizarre. Yeah, I don't know. Nobara's difficult. Maybe Nobara could consent to have her arm eaten, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of techniques where you think it kind of would have made some sense for them to do that. Maybe there's a... You could... Actually, no. Actually, if you want to, like, a maybe answer, maybe it's because Yuta... maybe it would be because Yuta doesn't understand... Yuta can't see the soul or comprehend the soul, so he probably couldn't use resonance. He probably couldn't use Straw Doll if he doesn't understand the soul, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to give some reasons, but there's a lot of techniques Yuta realistically could have copied and didn't. Strongest fake out death of history, Pell versus strongest fake out death of today, Nobara. The issue with Nobara and Pell is one's a fake out death and the other isn't. Like, Nobara is not a fake out death because when it happens, we literally have like dialogue saying she might not be dead. We'll wait and see. Like, Pell's like the issue with the difference between like that and anything in One Piece is in One Piece the character dies. Oda will milk you for emotion for like a chapter and a half of just like pure like emotion draining stuff, and then reveal they're alive later on. So he basically wants to get the emotional benefits of a tragic death, but then also keep the character alive. So that's why Oda's death fake outs are so bad. With Nobara's, Nobara's death wasn't like it wasn't milked for emotion. Like Gege didn't like run us dry of emotion like in the same way he did for like Nanami's death. It's treated very differently. And again, it's never like there's an out written like immediately, and it's made very clear to us as the audience that she can come back. Like I think it's quite different. It's why I've been so insistent that she was gonna come back. Bloody hell, Callboy23, call it with a spam a little bit. Who would win, Sevdasin or Sukuna? I don't think I would be able to take Sukuna, but I if Gege called me up, I'd have to give it a go. Anime Monarch, hello, welcome to stream. To be honest, I don't think Nobara's timing was too bad, since if she woke up at any earlier time, it completely turns the fight. That was the hypest moment for her to come back. Yeah, from like just a series of events, it's so hype. But yeah, it's good. Like, she could have woken up earlier. Even if she did wake up earlier in the fight, they still weren't going to tell Yuji anyway. So it doesn't really make much difference, like, when she woke up relative, basically. At least in my opinion. It wouldn't matter if you used copy technique. I mean, I guess to an extent, I guess, yeah, it wouldn't make too much sense for you to copy it purely on the basis of, that means they'd have to transport the other finger near Sukuna, and that's probably not a good idea. Just like Kenjaku, he doesn't know the specifics on how it works. He also doesn't perceive the soul. Yeah. He had to ask Inumaki if he specifically understand her speech. Yeah. I like how it's still not explained how the hell Yuta first copied Kerr's speech in JJK 0, because that makes no sense. But that's the thing, which I find quite funny. Bro Gege wants us to milk Sukuna instead of Gojo. Nobara's technique directly affects her soul. She perceives it even if she didn't realise. I hate when people say Gege can't write female characters. That tells me you don't understand writing at all, because all the important females are well written. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Nobara, for the time she gets in the story, she's very well written. It just is a fault of her, because her getting removed from the story in Shibuya does leave the issue that she's not present for a lot of the story. Yuki's the other one that people really point fingers at and say is really badly written, and I think Yuki's one of the best written characters in the entire series. I think people fundamentally, I don't want to say people are wrong, but I do think people fundamentally misunderstand the point of Yuki's character if you think Yuki's character was wasted, or she died too soon, or she was badly written. Because like that, her fight versus Kenjaku is one of the most well written things in JJK in my opinion. I think Yuki's so well written, but maybe a Yuki video a Yuki video in the future. My issue with Nobara's return is it feels like the sole purpose of it was to defeat Sukuna quickly due to the 5-chapter time limit. The second she returned, the fight was basically over. I'm not of the belief that Gege has rushed the ending on purpose. I think this was always how long it was going to take. I don't think it was meant to be longer and he shortened it. I think this is just how the fight was meant to go. In terms of her showing up right at the end, I think that's just because her one contribution to the battle is her using resonance and then Yuji landing the final thing. So her using this technique had to happen right at the end of the fight. So sure, you could have brought her back earlier in the fight, but her big moment, we then have a lag from her coming back to her actually doing anything. Where the one moment where she's important is right before Yuji lands his final Black Flash. So in terms of the logistics of when it happens, there's no other. The only time it was going to be relevant in the fight was right at the end, because that's the only time her technique was going to be important in the finishing fight. But that's just my opinion. Why did Gege hate Gojo so much? I'm not a JJK reader. Gege hating Gojo is a really big meme. It's because Gege makes comments about it, oh, I want people to vote for Nanami, not Gojo in polls and stuff. I don't think Gege really hates Gojo. From what he said from interviews and stuff, he finds Gojo annoying to write because Gojo is written to basically be perfect on the surface. He's super strong, you can't even touch him, he's well liked, he's handsome, so he's just he's the kind of he's almost like one of those isekai OP protagonists. He's almost written like that. And it's something he also finds Yuji really hard to write, because originally Megumi was meant to be the protagonist and he switches to Yuji. It's why Yuji almost feels like he's not the main character for a lot of the thing, and then gets big bouts of development because Gege, as he says in interviews, finds it really hard to write a character like Yuji. But yeah, the thing with Gojo is, yeah, I think it's a bit of a meme on his side. I don't think he hates Gojo at all. I think Gojo just happens to be a very annoying character to write, which I can imagine he is. But until we hear it from the man himself, I just don't think I just think people don't like the kind of female characters Gege writes. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair enough. That's fair. I also agree with the fact that people want more from his characters. Yeah, as you say, it is a sign they're well written characters, which I agree. Yeah, JJK just has like a really, really interesting cast, and just a lot of them just happen to not get too much screen time. But they act like real people. It's like I was always a big train that Noritoshi Kamo was going to be important in defeating Kenjaku, because I thought, Kenjaku basically just stole his name, smeared his name, all this da. But then when you think about it, and he just says, I'm not fighting, I don't want to die, and just leaves, as a real person, that makes so much sense. From traditional storytelling, it may seem a bit weird, like you'd expect him to be involved fighting Kenjaku, but it's not what happens, because he's a real person at the end of the day. So yeah, we don't get much more from him past the Culling Game stuff, but he goes off and lives a happy life. It's the same with people wanting Gojo to keep coming back. If you really valued Gojo as a person, you wouldn't want him to come back, because Gojo is one of the few characters in the series to have a satisfying death that he himself was happy with. He was happy to die how he died. He was very happy in the afterlife. He had no regrets. If you want to drag his corpse out and make him fight again, though, fair enough. Okay, where is the Discord server? Oh, God. I did start the Discord. I say this every stream. I did start the Discord server. It's in production. I'm doing the back end bits. I spent 10 minutes doing it, but I have been doing it. I feel bad now. I completely forgot. To be honest, he could have had Sukuna's last domain fail, since he noticed it was a huge risk to use it versus Yuji. Nobara coming back was cooler. Yeah, that's fair. What are your thoughts on Yuji's domain? I don't think the specifics matter, since all we need was a short hit. Yeah, at the end of the day, domains... Well, a domain is your... a domain smasher is your inner domain. And that's what Yuji's is. That's what we see. And the short hit was just cleave, because that's his technique. Now, I was kind of on the train where I've always been a big proponent of Yuji having some... Sukuna Yuji having some kind of other technique that involves memories or something, which could explain the Choso and Todo stuff. Something that wasn't the case. So when this happened, I thought maybe that's what the technique was, but it's just dismantle, and it's exactly the same as Malevolent Shrine. Basically, it's just Yuji short hit is one slash rather than slashes from all directions, because it's way less refined. I think that's all it comes down to. But I like his domain. I think his domain's really cool. Gege's wife loves Gojo more. Nobody wants more bloody Camo, but we want more of Kashimo, Miwa, and so on. No, I wanted more Camo. Camo's great. Camo was such an interesting character. I would love to see more exploration of him. Mai dies, so we can't see more of Mai. Kashimo, I think we got perfect amount of Kashimo. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see any more Kashimo. Kashimo serves his purpose. It's like when people say they wish they got a conversation between Gojo and Kashimo, in the break. And although I do think a conversation with those two would be really cool to see, what would that result from that conversation is nothing. It would have been a very nothing conversation, because both of them are kind of searching for the same thing. So I don't think we would have been anything meaningful coming out of it, but it would have been fun to see. I think that's with a lot of these character interactions. They would be fun to see, but I don't think they particularly add much to the actual stuff. But that's just me. It seems it could give a get out condition of accepting Yuji's proposal, enhances his attacks if refused. I can see something like that. Possibly. I don't know if Yuji's skilled enough to be adding restrictions to his domain. He's not exactly one to be using many binding vows, but it is possible. Gege doesn't write girl boss or damsel in distress. He writes competent human characters. How did Sukuna Kaisen end? It ended with Yuji black flashing Sukuna becoming a blob, and then rather than going back into Yuji, he dies. But that is what people want Gojo back is because people want Gojo back is because people want to want to know. I might be dumb. I don't really get that. Have you read Dorohedoro? I have not read Dorohedoro. It's been on my list for bloody ages. I at least wanted a name. Also wanted the short hit to combine Yuji's techniques he gains, like Gertrude's Bloodblade. I think the issue with it, well, that's a cool idea, but like domains can only have one technique. So it was either he was going to have blood manipulation or dismantle. It's going to be one or the other. And his soul dismantles were vital. So it wouldn't really make sense for him to use blood manipulation. But yeah, a name would have been cool. But at the same time, I think Yuji just silently doing a hand sign and then immediately just at a train station is a lot cooler than him saying domain expansion something. Because I think just us seeing him doing a hand sign and then us realizing in our mind that's a domain expansion is a lot cooler than having a text bubble that says domain expansion. At least in my opinion. But yeah, it would have been cool if we saw it. Do you think JJK will get a sequel? If it does, it'll be set like 50 years after. But if I was betting money on it, no, I really don't think it was. It's like people say like, oh, there's the Kenjaku stuff. But I'm like, the Kenjaku stuff's obviously just a joke. It's Takaba. Like, there's so many ways of how that Kenjaku thing happens. It could just be a manifestation of Takaba's ability. It could be so many things. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's meant to be explained. It's just meant to be funny because it's Takaba. So yeah. Can we expect Discord server in October? Yes, sure, whatever. If you want to drag his corpse out and make him fight cough Yuta, exactly. It's why Yuta doing that. It's like server was the friends you made along the way. I'm getting this Discord server is becoming a bit of a running meme that I definitely need to get on top of. I agree, people are too greedy, but Hakari and Todo talking would be peak, you can't lie. Yeah, Hakari and Todo would just be a fun-ass conversation to see. Hakari is one thing where, like, I had a lot of expectations for Hakari in this final fight that didn't happen, and it's because I was looking at Hakari like a very wrong way. Is Hakari, for all intents and purposes, is a perfect Jujutsu sorcerer at this point. He has the monster mindset, as Arame says, and he's basically just a flat character. Like, he doesn't develop or change at all across the story. He's basically the same at the beginning of this, when we first meet him, as at the end. Yeah, he's more receptive to coming back to being a sorcerer, but like, in terms of his mindset and his ideals, they're kind of the same. And it's why him versus Arame kind of like gets off-screened and kind of ends with no real resolution, because at the end of the day, Hakari was just kind of a stagnant, flat character. And I think in general, Gege kind of didn't know what to do with him because, yeah, so I think Hakari could have been used in a more interesting way. I just have no idea what it would be from a writing standpoint. Hence why I say I got a blob treatment. Hence why I say he got blob treatment. With what the new gen doing, yeah. I remember selling a couple of my JJK volumes to a woman who said her son read the series. Gotta wonder his reactions to that last chapter. See, that's something you'll never know. I'm always surprised by how like young some JJK fans are. Like, I was at Comic-Con and I was dressed as Heian Sukuna, as you do, and there was like a 5-year-old son and he's like, oh, it's Sukuna. I'm like, I don't just like, meaning like he recognised Heian Sukuna as Sukuna. I'm like, how? Why? He's like 5. I was talking about people being, honors for Goto. Seriously, these fans make me look normal. Yeah, they are. I can't believe Nobara came back after being away for hundreds of chapters. That's why you have to have faith. The Copas won in the end. I really like the Sukuna stay true until his death. It was only afterwards he considered a change. I'm glad they didn't make him stubborn in that moment. Yeah, it's why I love the final chapter so much. Because obviously the final chapter, like, the actual, like, plot part of it is them, catching that curse user and usually basically saying to the guy, you've made a mistake, but if you want to reform, you want to come back and do something different next time, not use your curse technique to hurt people, but instead to be a sorcerer, we'd welcome you in. He's giving him another chance. He's not forcing him to reform, he's giving him the chance, which obviously is a massive change from what happened in the Mahito arc, where he basically forced Junpei to be saved. He didn't give Junpei the option. He forced it on him. He forced becoming a Jujutsu sorcerer onto Junpei. And that was a mistake. It's hence why when he first reached out to Megumi in the fight at the end, Megumi says no, because Yuji was trying to force him out. Which is why right at the end of the fight, as Yuji says, he's not going to make Megumi come back. Megumi can just ball up and die if he really wants to. But I think we disconnected for a bit there. Anyway, yeah, I love the symbology. It's why the first panel of JJK is the box where Sukuna's finger is, and that's also the final. It's also the final panel of the series. It's full circle, and I love that. I agree. I don't need a name, but I would like one. Yeah, same. I'm sure we'll find it out in a data book or something eventually. Same like Kenjaku's technique. I'm sure we'll find out the name of that. JJC, just like my dad, who's going to come home when he finds the milk. I want JJK slice of life alternate timeline where no one dies and it's a happy ending. That would be pretty funny. Will we be watching the Uzumaki anime? First episode is out. The first episode is in my I've got it up here on my tabs, up on the top of my browser. I am very excited to watch it. I've just had a lot of anime I've been catching up to these last few days, so I haven't watched it yet. Bro, I also hate Hakari downplay. My man did his job. It's a shame we don't see yes, but it wasn't necessary. Yeah. Hakari like just doesn't have. There wasn't much use to it. There's not much. Yeah, there's not. Hakari's just like I can understand why it happened the way it did, because I'd struggle to write a good purpose for him in the final fight. Purely from like the things like from a plot point, Arame being there is really, really bad. Same with his curse tool. So we had to use Higuruma to get rid of the curse tool, but how the hell does he get rid of Arame? Someone has to go fight Arame, basically. And Hakari is like is Hakari or Yuta, one of them had to go do it, and Yuta obviously had writing involved in the fight. So using Hakari as a pure plot device to get rid of Arame makes sense. So I don't really know. Like, sure, you could easily write Hakari into the actual Sukuna fight, but then you still have the issue of Arame. So I think just from a pure like plot point, I can understand why he had to handle the two the way he did. But you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, they are writing these mangas weekly, so they can't often don't have time to plan stuff out as well as they want to. My main hope is that we get more extended fight action in the anime. Oh, we for sure will. You saw what season 2 did with extending fights. Like, that's why even though the JJK mangas ended, I think the fandom's going to be strong for years to come, because the anime is so good and it extends stuff in such fun ways. Yeah, I'd like to see a few more attacks from Rame. Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't think we're going to get anything. I don't think we're going to get like a domain expansion from her or anything. Like, I don't think we're going to get that amount of filler, but I think we'll see some more cool shit from Arame. Gege set up a clan war arc and ended the manga lol. Imagine if at the end of the Demon King Piccolo arc, Toriyama set up Piccolo Jr. and ended the manga anyway. I don't think the clan war was ever that big of a thing. It was more. I can understand it being a dropped plot point, but I never thought it was like a massive. I never saw it as like a thing that definitely had to happen. But that's just me. Why the hat, by the way? It's because I haven't done my hair today. That's why. No other reason than that. How's the body pillow doing? It's fine. And we're not bringing the body pillow into this stream again. Dear Lord. We got the lag. I am so sorry about the lag, guys. I can't do anything about it. Sorry. It is what it is. Have you watched Tatami Galaxy? It's my favorite anime. Tatami Galaxy. I don't believe I have. I recognize the name at least. Oh, yeah. I haven't watched it. It's on my list. I do know about it, and I've heard really good things about it. I definitely will be checking it out. I'm quite slow at the moment with catching up with binging animes at the moment. I used to be able to binge series so well, but now it takes me ages. What's your take on this view on JJK story? Sukuna is the embodiment of what Jujutsu society leads to. Gojo's main goal was to change this, but being alone as the strongest wasn't enough. That's an interesting take that I haven't heard that before. That is quite an interesting take. Sukuna's embodiment of what Jujutsu society leads to. That genuinely, I think that's actually a really good point that I hadn't considered before. The Sukuna aspect being, like, I always considered Sukuna to be the logical extreme of strength and a Jujutsu in that aspect of pure Jujutsu as like an art form. But like in terms of Jujutsu society, yeah, it very well could be. That's a really good point. And as your part 2 says, Yuji became the answer to the blight of the old Jujutsu society, and through his connections with other people was able to defeat such change. Sukuna represents the old ways. That bit I definitely agree with. But yeah, I never considered that top bit. That's a really good thought, actually. I may use aspects of that whenever I do my big Sukuna video down the line. But yeah, thank you. That's a really interesting point. Now the clan war is unnecessary because since the Zen are gone, there's no point. Yeah, I honestly forgot that it was set up that much. Yeah, I got the lag too. I do apologize against the lag, guys. There's nothing gonna do about it. I'm afraid. Sorry. Also, can we get the likes up? I'm not seeing any likes on this stream. Can we get these likes up, guys? Gojo changed the world and was carrying it on his shoulders for years. Him being permanently gone is a big deal, but no one seems to care. It's almost like no one cared for Gojo. I kind of agree. I kind of don't. Gojo carrying the whole Jujutsu Society on his shoulders was a problem. It was a big problem, actually. It caused a lot of issues. So it now being shouldered by multiple shoulders is a big improvement. In terms of no one caring about Gojo, well, people obviously do care about Gojo. I think people annoyed we didn't get a Gojo funeral, but I don't think that was necessary. We knew what Gojo meant to everyone. It was made so blatantly obvious throughout the series that everyone obviously did care for Gojo. Yuta's efforts in stealing Kenny's ability was born from nothing but his love for Gojo and wanting to take the burden instead. Yeah, I think people do care for Gojo. I think, and in the end, Gojo got what he wanted. He fostered a new generation of strong sorcerers that support each other. There's no longer a sole protector, which was the biggest issue of what Gojo was trying to prevent. Yeah, it's also where I see people moaning that Megumi's isn't that involved, and it's annoying that Megumi was just like a damsel to be saved by the end of the series. And I do agree with that, but I think that's just a necessity of Yuji. Yuji's the main character at the end of the day, and one of the big lessons Yuji has to learn is how to properly save people. And so it kind of comes down to one of two routes the story can show this. Either he, one, saves Sukuna, which I don't think people would like if he taught the Jutsu Sukuna and reformed him, basically, or he saves Megumi. Those are the one thing. And he does actually, to an extent, he does extend his hand to Sukuna and tries it, and then Sukuna kind of what's the word? Sukuna's no, bro, I'm not doing that, and willingly dies instead. But I think the gesture of Yuji reaching out the hand and giving Sukuna the choice, just that gesture alone, I don't think is enough to show the full circle in Yuji's development and his views on saving people. So I think Megumi was was very important just as a character for Yuji to save, to show his change in his mindset and how he's grown as a person, as a sorcerer. So I do think Megumi does suffer a little bit from that aspect, but it is what it is. We need a body pillar arc in the Record of Seven Rock. Oh, speaking of Record of Seven Rock, I'm going to be doing community posts this week, asking, because round 5 is now written completely, but if anyone wants to do any voice work for it, there's a lot of for some, there's obviously opportunity to do the big roles, Oppenheimer and Quetzalcoatl, but there's a lot of minor roles where there's 1 or 2 lines. So I will be doing community posts asking if anyone wants to voice some lines for that. So that will be up this week. So Record of Seven Rock is in the works. It's going to be ready once we get recording done. Yep, we're all here for the pillow. You're going to have to pay me some super chats for the pillow, and it can't be a small amount. You have to do a big amount if you want that coming out, because I don't really want it there. Also, your cat is moving around in the back. She is. She's a very lazy cat. I may say that because in the last chapter, it admitted that he was lashing out since the world hated him. I mainly say that because in the last chapter, he admitted that he was lashing out since the world hated him. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Society hated him, but you know who didn't hate him? His friends and his students, the people who now are running Jujutsu Society. The people that hated him are now dead. They're all gone. The people now running Jujutsu Society are the people that patted him on the back before his fight. The people that do genuinely care for him and value him as a person. And obviously we don't have, in terms of we haven't got this single strong special grade now. We've got Yuta, we've got Higuruma, Hakari, I guess Yuji. You got those guys who are around special grade level, and they're taking the burden, but none of them are taking the sole burden anymore. So I think society changed for the better. What's your Neko's name? That is Sophie in the back. Sophie, she is 18. She doesn't look it, but she's a very old girl. Might even top the Spaghetti Monster arc. Hey, the Spaghetti Monster arc was great. I love JJK discussions. I hope the idea helps. Yeah, thank you. When I get round to doing some of my JJK videos down the line, it will be very helpful. Only 10 likes. Give my boy more likes. Yeah, we need the likes. The Clan Wars need The clan war needs the three big families, but seeing as the only important members of the Gojo clan was Gojo, Zenin got the Uchiha treatment, while Kamo clan was left out there. There's no point. Yeah, I like from just a pure storytelling aspect that the only Gojo clan member we meet is Gojo himself, because it really hammers home the idea that the only reason they're a main clan is because of the Limitless and the Six Eyes. Gojo represents, Gojo is the face of the clan because he's the only one of them with any actual power, and I quite like that. Jujutsu Society's problems was addressed directly and changed by the Chumbagege did what JK Rowling could never do. Nah, JK Rowling did a lot. The house elves basically... The fact that the house elves like being, basically slaves is just so fucking tone deaf. It's hilarious. Yeah, I agree. It's quite funny that... Especially, the bit at the end where he's like, oh, not all Slytherins are bad, but it's Slytherins are just bad. It's terrible. We're not going to go on a big, rant about Harry Potter, but I do think some of Harry Potter's... The resolution of Harry Potter, is really weird. From, a changing the systemic issues aspect. We don't need a funeral and a bunch of tears. We could have got a moment of silence for my goat where they love at. Yeah, I think the thing is, we got basically... almost a whole chapter of Gojo in the afterlife, and I think that's a great send-off. We don't get that from most characters. Well, he's the only character that really gets that. The only other afterlife scenes are the Sukuna scenes. But Gojo got a general happy send-off with all his dead friends. So I think that in itself was good enough. By the way, Mummy Kenjaku got camped, and you'll forget about that. Just remember, guys, Yuta could only bush camp Kenny because Todo was there. Yuta is such a fraud, it's unreal. Funny enough, I don't think there will be a clan war. I think the clans will just fall apart. Besides, the strongest sorcerers ain't involved, so it kind of doesn't matter. Yeah, in terms of the clans now, Megumi's the head of the Zenin clan, and he doesn't really give a shit about the Zenin clan to start with, and the Zenin clan is basically non-existent now. Kamo's a pretty nice guy, so I don't think he's doing anything, and the Gojo clan is fallen out of relevance now. So all our strong current sorcerers aren't part of the clans. In fact, one of our strongest sorcerers, Higuruma, now, he was an awakened sorcerer. He wasn't even from a clan to begin with, which is quite fun. You already got me for my boy Alkong. I do indeed, and I'll be starting to write that soon. By the way, just out of curiosity, what's your favourite work of fiction that's not an anime, manga, or light novel? Ooh, that is a really good question. That's hard. I'd like to just say DC Comics in general, but that's not I'm not gonna say that because there's such quality difference between different writers and different storylines. And I wouldn't say there's any specific storyline in DC that I hold really highly in my mind. I really like No Longer Human by Dazai. That is one of my favourite books of all time. It's not a light novel. It's a classical Japanese bit of literature, so I think that counts. So I really like that. I'm really... I wouldn't say it's my favourite, but I'm really enjoying The Boys TV show right now. I did a Boys video, ages ago. That was really good. In terms of TV shows, there's such TV shows I can throw out there. I love Breaking Bad. I'm just going to say Breaking Bad's great. There's a lot of, movies that I really like. It's kind of a hard question. My general media consumption has in the last few years solely revolved around anime, manga, and light novels. So I still watch a lot of movies, but I'm not consuming as much Western books and stuff as I used to. So I kind of need to get back on that. So it's kind of hard, but there's a lot of stuff I really like. I've been watching The Penguin. I'm not sure when episode 2 drops. Episode 1 came out last week with Colin Farrell. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it. It is amazing. One of the best bits of television I've seen in a long time. So I'd highly recommend that for people. Still milking again for the pillow reveal. It's because I don't want to reveal the pillow. That's why I'm milking it. The body pillow is Bros Gojo for real. Yeah, you guys view the body pillow like the fandom views Gojo. How many body pillows are you hiding in your drawers? There's one. There's only one. Dragon in the Jungle. How many pets do you have? I have 3 pets. There's the cat, Sophie. There's my dog, who you can probably hear barking at the moment, Tinker. And I have a fish called Buddy. Those are my 3 pets. And the fish is so bloody old. The fish is 12 now. 12-year-old goddamn goldfish. Cat's 18. The dog's a puppy. Well, she's a year and a bit now. So she's young. But, like, my other pets are all just old men. If you like Breaking Bad, I recommend The Sopranos. It actually inspired the creators of Breaking Bad. Sopranos is on, like... I watched the first episode a while ago because I was going to try get into watching it, and then I forgot to watch episode 2, but I really enjoyed it. One of my friends is a massive Sopranos fan. So Sopranos is on my list. I'm really bad at getting through TV shows at the moment. I just don't have time for it. Although I do have time for it, I just don't make time for it. But you know, yeah. But yeah, I'm sure Sopranos is really good. I've heard really good stuff about Sopranos. I've actually weirdly heard that the Penguin, what I was just talking about, that Colin Farrell's performance as the Penguin is very similar to Tony from Sopranos, apparently. I can't really say how accurate that is, but I have heard that notion. I can smell BS. How many do you actually have? I have one, and I did not buy it. It was a present. I wouldn't willingly buy one because they're very expensive. Also, actually, just because I'm going to do some plugging, once this stream's over, and you want to see more of this face, I will be streaming later today on Pirate Diaries channel. I will be good and shove the link to his channel in the chat. 1 minute. Yeah, so I'll be streaming on this guy's channel later today. I'm going to be joining him for a One Piece. I think we're doing an arc tier list, One Piece arc tier list. So if you want to see more of my beautiful face at 3 EST, which I think is 8 PM my time. Yeah, 3 EST I think. We're going to be streaming on his channel. So double streams if you want to go and watch me on his channel. Yeah, I can't get into TV shows much either. That's why I mainly just read stuff nowadays. Yeah, with reading, you can just get through it quickly. With TV shows, it's kind of a commitment. I'm also really bad because I just started watching a show called Gilgamesh. It's from the early 2000s. I'm only a few episodes in. It's quite good, actually. But then I decided I dropped it momentarily to rewatch Fate Zero again. And I'm always just dropping it to rewatch Fate Zero because I love Fate Zero so much. It's because I've been cosplaying. I did a shoot in my Gilgamesh cosplay, so it made me want to rewatch Fate Zero. Plus, I want to do a lot of Fate Zero videos, so I kind of needed to rewatch it just to refresh myself on it. But yeah, it also kind of meant that poor old Gilgamesh has been like pushed to the side while I just rewatch Fate Zero for the 100th time. But Fate Zero is really good. I've also been rewatching the Orc New arc of Hunter as well, because I like the arc a lot. So it's not good. I agree. Why is fabric so expensive when the pillow part is cheaper? I don't know. It's real bad though. Oh yeah, I missed some things. The anime better give us time skip filler. It might do. I don't know if it will though. I don't. The reason why I don't think it will is because I'm pretty confident season 3 is going to end on Now I'd Win. I think it'd be really weird not to end on that moment. And due to that, I think at the end of the day, they can extend the core an episode or two if they really need to. But I think that's a logical place to end the season. And I think there's not going to be much extra room to add a lot of filler stuff for that kind of stuff in. And they're obviously not going to add it at the beginning of season 4 then, because season 4 would start straight with Gojo versus Sukuna. So I don't know logistically if they would, but it would be cool. Does the anime girl in your body pillow talk to you in your dreams? The anime girl on my pillow does not talk to me in my dreams, because luckily it's locked away in a cupboard where it can't get at me. Maybe I was misreading, but it seemed like Kenjaku and Tengen had history. I do wish we had gotten a bit more of that. Not a deal breaker, though. Yeah. As far as we're aware, they obviously were old friends back in the day. I do agree. It would be cool to see it. I think we understood enough about Tengen and Kenjaku as characters, but yeah, it would have been cool to see a bit more of them. I'm also Longius, y'all. Yeah, well, we got a while till the Longius stuff happens. And just due to plot reasons, Longius is not going to be showing up before his round. So, yeah. Reading solos, all forms of entertainment. Reading's just quicker. But, like, I think different mediums give different things. Like, there's a lot of aspects of film and animation that I adore that you just could not replicate within writing. That's just how it is from a writing standpoint. It's mainly because a few of my mates we've recently filmed a short film. We filmed 3 short films, but they're like, it's the same short film, but three of us in the group, not me included, but 3 other people, they all wanted to take a stab at directing it differently. So we're 3 versions of the same short film. And we've been learning a lot about like directing and lighting and camera angles and stuff from that, which has been really fun. So I've actually been a lot more in the know about like live action filming. So that's been quite fun. I'm not sure when it's going to be done, if any of it's going to be public or not. I kind of came into this short film like kind of low, kind of late into it, so I wasn't involved in the script writing or the storyboarding. I was just kind of there to help on the day, but I might be writing the script for our next short film, so that should be fun. But yeah. Bro, don't forget Toriyama and Wukong in the Alkong fight. Don't worry, they will be. Who has the biggest god complex? Gilgamesh from Fate, Sukuna from JJK, Emu from One Piece, Light from Death Note, or Poseidon from Record of Ragnarok? It's not Gilgamesh, because for me, Gilgamesh doesn't have a god complex, because for me, a god complex has to be something you can't back up. Like, God himself doesn't have a god complex, and if it's Gilgamesh from Fate, I'm going to say Fate Zero here, because that's my favourite Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh in Fate Zero hasn't got a god complex, because everything he says is right. He is as strong. He is by far the strongest like servant in that thing. Everything he says is basically the truth. I don't think he has a god complex, but I think he, for all intents and purposes, is God because he backs up all his claims. So I'm removing him. Sukuna doesn't. I don't think Sukuna particularly has much of a god complex, because Sukuna, as Sukuna like says, he's kind of, if he dies, he dies. He's kind of fine too. So I wouldn't say Sukuna has a particular god complex. Emu, we don't know enough about. So it's between Poseidon or Light. I'd say it's Poseidon. Because Poseidon, like, even to his last breath. Actually, no, that's a good point. It depends if you're reading the manga or watching the anime for Death Note. The anime gives the ending of Light's character, makes it way more dignified. In the manga, he has such a pathetic death. It's why I much prefer the manga for Death Note over the anime. Because, number one, the anime cuts quite a lot of stuff out near the back end. It's why it feels like it really rushes once Nier shows up. Because they cut a lot of stuff out in the manga. But the anime gives him quite more of a almost noble death, whereas in the manga his death is just pathetic. He has a pathetic ass tragic death, which I think is very fitting of Light, because at the end of the day Light was wrong. Light was the villain of the story at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, as far as the manga presents it, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I think, but Light, I'd say Poseidon, but it's a hard question to say which, but I think Light has a really big god complex as well. It's why his downfall at the end of the manga is so satisfying. Same with Poseidon. Have you read Fate Grand Order Turres Retalia? I have not. It is that the manga? Yeah, that's the manga, isn't it? No, I haven't yet. I do want to get on it, though. But will you make the server, Seth? Nah, I will make the server. I just keep forgetting. They could make Season 4 short, ending with Now I'd Win. They could, I guess. I don't know. I feel they will just end Season 3 on Now I'd Win. I think they'll try to keep culling games into one big season. That kind of makes sense to me. They could, but, you know, it's hard to say. We should add Leonidas into Longest fight. Yeah, we can do that. That's no problem at all. Speaking of Leonidas, there'll be new Leonidas cosplay photos on the Instagram soon. Specifically of him in his Hawaiian shirt before the round. But I don't know when those are coming up. So yeah, follow the Instagram if you want to see more Leonidas pics. I hate when people look for meaning in something that's not there. I get it to an extent, but like most meaning in like stuff happens because we want there to be meaning there. Like, I don't know, I believe very much in death of the author, so I don't really have much. I don't have an issue with people finding meaning in something where it's not intended. But that's just me. What would it take to make the Discord server reality? The issue with the Discord server is it's not like I'm actively not trying to do it. I just keep forgetting. So you just gonna bug me. And nobody, Seth, when a character in Baki literally fucking yawns, or should I sleep? No. Some of the stuff in Baki you can say, I think, but not the yawning thing, because the yawning thing is like just a very obvious, deliberate bit of writing at the beginning of Baki. Some Baki stuff, sure, but not the yawning. The yawning's like I feel a hillbilly could work out the significance of the yawning. Shame we can't get Gojo vs Sukuna as a movie because the way the arc is structured, there is no breathing room. Everything happens in succession. Yeah, I don't think the issue like I'd have with that is like, if we were gonna do the Gojo vs Sukuna as a movie, I think the perfect way to end it would be on Yuji and Higuruma jumping down. I think that would be the freeze frame to end it on. But that means we have to have Kashimo fighting him in the movie, so the movie ends with the Kashimo fight, and I don't see that happening. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. It's interesting. I'm not sure how they're going to structure it, but I'm sure it'll be good whatever they do. And I also don't know how much filler they're going to add into the Gojo Sukuna fight, because once you get past the initial scrap, as soon as they start opening domains, there's not really much room to add filler stuff in, like filler fights, because everything's like very meticulously planned from Gege on like what's happening when, who's using, how much energy they're using and stuff. I would say Light, because at least Poseidon is an actual god, while Light is an edgy loser who happened to find godlike powers by chance. Yeah, that's fair. Bruh, the disrespect my boy Nier gets is crazy. I've only watched the anime, but I don't hate Nier. Nier's great. Yeah, read the manga. The manga extends the Nier stuff quite a bit. Though Emu might have the bigger god complex depending on how they are revealed to be. Yeah, he definitely, she, whatever, they definitely could be. We just don't know much about them. I wasn't clowning on you for yawning for. I just thought it was a funny meme. It is a funny meme. But I get defensive over the... No one has really called me out on the yawning thing in the comments of that Baki video, which is surprising because people like to call me out on my Baki stuff. But yeah, I'm quite defensive on it though. But only because like I feel someone is such an easy thing to rag on. But yeah, no beef gut, man. We should make a poll on what the Discord server, what it'll be called. Oh, sure. Do you want me to do? I'll put the poll. We could either discuss it in chat here, but there's only 6 people, so it's probably not that fair. Or I could do it as like a post on the channel. The only way a movie could end is his corpse with snow falling, which sees the ending credits. That could be really good. I just don't know if the fight's long enough to warrant an entire movie. I get, though, to be fair, they're doing the bomb girl arc in Chainsaw Man as a movie, and I mean that's bloody long enough for a movie either. I cannot believe that. I rant about this like every stream, but I think that's such a dumb decision to do Bomb Girl as a movie. I think it's really dumb. But yeah, they could do that. But I just love the idea. I just really like Yuji jumping down to fight Sukuna as the final like image of the movie. I mean, that just, to me, that feels really cool. But yeah, annoyingly, Kashimo has to be in the way. But yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see them ending it on the death. I guess they have to just add quite a bit of filler stuff to what's the word? To beef it up to make it like long enough to kind of warrant it. Unless they give loads of recap stuff, which I don't think they do. I actually think Sephiroth would work well, but the record of yawning is pretty funny. Record of yawning is insane. Also, we have to remember that I do talk about Baki and Record of Ragnarok a lot, but like I do talk about other series. I don't want the name to alienate like my older fandom, because like fandom, yeah, I'm a really cool celebrity. My older subscribers, because like most of my original subscribers are Gintama fans. Rip the Gintama content I don't really make anymore, and after that was all the Monogatari fans. So you know, what anime/manga universe would you like to exist in if given the chance as a support character? Ugh. Most anime universes are just like, if you're not, I guess if I'm a side, do you say side or support? Support character implies that I'm not just weak as fuck, but like I'm at least like useful to the protagonist. So that makes it a little better. Because saying like most anime worlds are either just the real world, or I'm just going to be like really weak and die. If I'm a supporting character, I'm taking that as a supporting character to the MC and the main cast. So in that case, One Piece wouldn't be too bad, because I'm not going to die because it's One Piece, because I'm an important character and no one dies in One Piece. So that'd be pretty fun. I wouldn't say anything like JJK, because I'd probably just become a sorcerer and die. Gintama would be pretty fun, just because Gintama seems like quite a fun world. Baki would be cool. Because if I'm supporting Baki, then I'm assuming I'm coming into this world with a base level of martial arts fitness. So that could be quite fun. Or Evangelion, so I could be in a high school and it's not even a high school, is it? It's like a goddamn middle school. I'm in the middle school and I'm getting attacked by angels all the time, so I'm just gonna I'm just gonna have to learn shitty maths and bad Japanese and then get killed by an angel. That'd be pretty sick. But yeah, probably One Piece would be pretty cool. Or Baki, maybe. I wouldn't go Record Ragnarok because I'd be... If I wasn't a supporting character, then I'm just a spectator, basically. Though it would be pretty fun to watch. The Musashi arc is getting adapted. Oh, is it actually? Have we got an announcement for that? Oh, that'd be really fun. Mugen Train and Gintama in the final really made everyone want to make films instead of anime seasons. Yeah. Mugen Train was like so goddamn successful, it's insane. Mugen Train I think really worked as a movie. I think all the other Demon Slayer movies have been like really bad. Gintama in the final was really good too, yeah. We don't tolerate the Kazuma slander. Kazuma is the GOAT. Sefton yawning. Record of Weeb is the Discord server name. Pillow worshippers. Strongest big fan of history. Gintama Monogatari was the strongest Seth fans of today. Regular Ragnarok and Baki. The thing is, like, the really, really old school subscribers who watched me before I was even called Seth. Well, no, even before Gintama, I was a Seven Deadly Sins YouTuber. That's why I'm called Seth the Sin. That's because I was a Sins YouTuber. Before that, the channel wasn't even called Seth the Sin. Before that, it was called Prickly Instinct. If anyone remembers those good old days. There was some weird old content back when Prickly Instinct was the thing. We need the body pillow as the official mascot of the server. No, we don't, because to be fair, like, I'm assuming only probably chat. But if you're willing to do the live stream, you're probably willing to join the Discord. I don't think anyone else will, so it's probably fine to have weird in jokes in it, I guess. I agree. I know Chainsaw Man is inspired by movies, but nothing in the series is long enough for a movie. Yeah, I think you could maybe at a touch do the Control Devil arc, but I think in general, like, it shouldn't be. But at the same time, the anime, like, I will always say, I love the Chainsaw Man anime. I think it's really fun, but I think it's a really bad adaptation of Chainsaw Man, because I think it gets the tone completely goddamn wrong. Chainsaw Man should be kind of goofy, and it should be absurd. It shouldn't be cinematic, and, like, it shouldn't be, like, cinematic. We shouldn't have, like, we shouldn't have scenes of, like, Aki just, like, smoking, like, melancholically. I really enjoy it. I love the anime. I just don't think it's a good adaptation. I think it's a fun take on it. I just don't think it's a good adaptation. But I feel like making a movie out of it seems very on brand for how the anime's adapting the story. I find you from the Monogatari vids a lot in that series went over my head. I think a lot in Monogatari goes over everyone's heads. What people need to remember about me and Monogatari is I've read the series many times. I've watched the series multiple times. I live and breathe Monogatari. Like, it's my favourite series of all time. I've consumed it so much. I've read all the extended material. So, if it seems like it's easy to understand because I'm making videos explaining it, it's not because it is. It's because I've spent a massive amount of my life just consuming the series over and over again. I think it is a very dense series. It's a very hard one to get into. So, I don't blame people at all. I think my early Monogatari videos are quite bad because I don't think I understood the series particularly well in those videos. Living in One Piece would be cool if you ignore that it has 1994 levels of a corrupt system. It does, but you said supporting character, which implies I'm supporting the Straw Hats, which means my life's probably not that bad. Seth's Monogatari days introduced me to him. I like about acting like my Monogatari days are over. I do still make Monogatari videos, guys. They just take forever to make. Jojo, so I can have a stand. Jojo would be fun, but then you realise that if you actually look at how, like, stand fights happen, people get effed up in those stand fights. It just sounds really painful, and you could easily get a really bad stand. What if you get Notorious B.I.G.? Exactly. Though what I will say about B.I.G. is, I'm pretty sure it could be used before dying. I think obviously it works best when you're dead, but I'm pretty sure Kane could use it before he died, because when he gets shot and dies, he was about to use his stand. Like, he was like, they saw the stand energy, and like he was a competent enough stand user to be sent after people. So I'm pretty sure Notorious B.I.G. still worked when he was alive. I don't think you have to die to activate it, but you know, maybe that's confirmed in the data book, and I'm just talking out my ass. I think Pillar Worshippers should be the fan name. If you're born in the My Hero Academia universe, you probably would have been born with the quirk yawn. Everyone 100-meter radius falls asleep or loses interest in whatever they're doing. Goddamn, yawning's becoming a bit of a meme now, isn't it? My Hero Academia universe, most people have just shit quirks though, and it's also a pretty corrupt, bad society. Let's accept Seth. You like your body pillow a lot, don't you? I forget it exists. I only remembered it existed because you guys were talking about it. Restless yawning. Bro, Dabi is the best character in My Hero, no debate. Dabi is an excellent example of a character that I think is amazingly written. I just don't like them because they don't do anything for me. It's a bit like Ace in One Piece. I think Ace is a really well written, and Law as well. I think Ace and Law are really well written. They just don't do anything for me. Or Beelzebub in Record Ragnarok. I acknowledge they're a really good character. They just don't do anything for me. I don't find them enjoyable. I don't dislike them. They're just kind of neutral to me, and that's kind of Dabi to me. I think he's really well written. He's kind of neutral to me. Your vids defensively made it easier to understand. I misunderstood some relationships in the show. Oh, well, I'm glad I could help you, but I always need to preface that, like, these are just my interpretations. If people have different interpretations, I think that's fair. And, like, Monogatari is quite a loose story in that you can have various interpretations of stuff. I think that's fine. Not gonna lie, if I could live as a supporting character, it would be Amafura, because I want my ship to sail. Which jelly-filled donut do you prefer, Rengoku or Ace Donuts? I still prefer characters, but yeah, Dabi embodies the other villains and themes way better. Yeah, I think Dabi, as I say, is a really well-written character. He just doesn't do much for me. I like Shigaraki a lot. I like Toga a lot. My favourite antagonist in My Hero is Gentle. I love Gentle so much. It's because I love the Festival Arc. The Festival Arc kind of like... The Festival Arc is a lot of what I kind of wish My Hero did more of, which is heroes saving people through being heroes and not just fighting. But, you know, it is what it is. Oh, shit. Anime Monarch has got some actual, like, episode stats. This could be really cool. Season 1 and 2 of JJK covered 137 chapters, which is 69-ish chapters per season. Now I'd Win is chapter 221, 84 chapters after season 2, which would mean that season 3 would need to be the longest season. I see. I will say... Oh. Culling Games does have the most action, I guess, of any arc. And that obviously takes less time. Season 3 would need to be 30-ish episodes for Now I'd Win at the end. So, okay, yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair. They'll probably end, yeah, with the Megumi reveal then. I definitely agree there. Yeah, that's fair enough. Thanks for bringing the stats in. I'm glad to see them. Originals and Mnemonic, Catcoin Donuts are way better. If you have to live in anime world as the MC, who would you be? Not just Seth, but everyone too. Oh, I get to be the MC. Well, that's quite fun. See, I could be devious and say, oh, any harems. I could just say a goddamn harem season, like a harem show. Trying to think, because there's a lot of like worlds I think are really fun. Like I love the Konosuba world's really fun, but it's also a really harsh world. It's like it's not fun to live in at all. Like if you look at it from a serious aspect. That's a really hard one because there's a lot of like really fun verses to be the MC in. I'd want one where I'm not like risking my life. One Piece would be fun just because like again you're not gonna die in One Piece because most characters don't die in One Piece. Ooh. It's hard because like I'd love to be in a Fate series and be participating in a Holy Grail War sounds fun, but I'd just be risking my life and possibly dying and having to kill people. And I'm a pacifist. I don't want to be actually killing and hurting people. It's not really my kind of my thing. Baki would be fun because I just get to fight. I say that as a guy who has like no martial arts experience, so I probably wouldn't enjoy Baki because I probably wouldn't enjoy getting beaten up. Like fighting people probably isn't actually that fun to me. Evangelion, so I get to go in a horrendous mech robot made of my mum would be very funny. My Hero maybe only because like I don't know, being a pro hero sounds pretty fun. You're using your powers to save people. That sounds pretty fun. Gintama, no, because Gintama is still a pretty corrupt ass society, which isn't the funnest thing to live in. It's hard to say. Imagine living in the Madaka Box verse. God, Madaka Box verse is like Madaka verse is just so normal, and there's some aspects of it that's just so flipping weird. Shiggy missed the Maki derby represent his theme far more than him. Shiggy, I think, missed. Oh yeah, Shiggy missed the mark. Yeah, Dabi represents theme far more than him. Yeah, Shiggy. I don't like how Shiggy's character was handled at the end. I thought Shiggy had the potential to be the best character in My Hero Academia. I do like Shiggy a lot though. Endeavor's probably my favorite character in thing, which sounds a bit weird because like his story is completely tied to Dabi's character. But like I love Endeavor, but like Dabi doesn't really do much for me. I like Jiro a lot. I think Jiro's writing. So that's something like Jiro's like writing in Festival. I think is amazing, and it really embodies personally what I view, like what I value out of heroism. But like Jiro doesn't really do much. Like actually, like she's a side character in the day, so she doesn't really get much development beyond that. Seth, can you yawn? Yes, I can yawn. Most people can yawn. Can I do it on command? No, I cannot. Nah, I yawn. Brilliant. Gentle is my husbando. Gentle is the best. Seth, it will end with Maguna's first appearance and usually looking shocked. Yeah, you've convinced me now. Yeah, you've convinced me. Maguna real is pretty good. Especially because I don't know. I'm just imagining you are my special playing. But it's obviously not going to be you are my special. It's going to be whatever season 3's thing. Like just imagine like just this. It'll be like people clowned on the ending of the when Sukuna like after in Shibuya when he goes back to Yuji and Yuji's just screaming and You're My Special starts playing. And I can just imagine like Yuji screaming as Sukuna and Arame like, are laughing, flying away on you, and it just starts playing You're My Special. It's just the ending of the series. That'd be pretty funny. Don't worry, Seth. In Back Universe, everyone's infinite blood supply. They do have a lot of blood. You can't deny that. Have you tried Jollibee? I've not tried Jollibee. We don't have Jollibee in my country, sadly. The anime staff love Derby. Look at how they go for his episodes. I can't comment because I haven't watched the My Hero anime since I stopped watching the anime in the villains arc. Only because like I really didn't like how they handled the villains arc because they cut a lot of stuff that I just thought was really weird. I can't remember what it is exactly, but there's something where they cut the setup, but then keep the payoff for it. So it doesn't work if you're an anime only because you don't get the setup. It's something, I can't remember what it is, but it's very small. It's not like a major thing, but like I noticed it. It was really weird. Though if you're not from Japan, you're going to be canon fodder. That is very true. Lobotomy Kaiser was the amazing part of the fandom. See, I'm so happy the anime is continuing for like the years to come because I don't want the Lobotomy Kaiser fandom to be. And honestly, like as like in terms of like my favorite, JJK is probably like my favorite community, like anime wise that I've been in. I don't know. I think the regular adult community is quite fun, but like JJK and One Piece are the only like fandoms that I've really interacted with outside of the internet. Only because like as a cosplayer who goes to a lot of cosplay events and a lot of cons, I attend a lot of like JJK meets and One Piece meets, and JJK fans and One Piece fans are some of like the nicest people you can meet. They're such fun, and especially JJK fans are so memey. Like it is every fan's basically like a Lobotomy Kaizen fan, so it's so fun in real life to meet these Lobotomy Kaizen fans. So yeah, I really like Lobotomy Kaizen as a concept. I think a lot of series also have really good. Like I don't mind Chainsaw Man's fandom. It doesn't really do it for me in the same way that JJK's does. I like Kagurabachi's fandom. I think that's really memey. And One Piece power scaling, like the One Piece power scaling community is unintentionally really memey as well. Now I'd postpone. I also hate when people say that Horikoshi is misogynistic because, like, the gag argument, they're not important, and the fact you want more means they're good. Yeah, that's very fair. Best My Hero Academia best written character arcs: Endeavor, Gentle, Bakugo, debatable. Gentle and Endeavor, I definitely throw her up there. Bakugo, I really enjoyed Bakugo's arc. I'd throw him up there. In terms of other characters, like I think Darby on paper is up there. I do like, even if Shiggy's ending was a bit fumbled, I still really like most of his development up until that point. I weirdly liked, what's his name? sparkling all the time, whatever his name is. The guy who has the light label, the laser in his belly button, whatever his name is. Ayama? Is it Ayama? I like his development. I thought he was quite well developed. For who he is. Kirishima, again, I think is well developed for, like, the amount of, like, screen time he actually gets. What is the... Oh, is message removed? Arami fans are pretty past. Arami. Oh, I feel like I recognize it. Oh, it's a game, isn't it? Yeah. Now, could Horikoshi done better with certain characters? Yes, but the problem isn't misogyny. My black people don't media literacy Gege actually have a misogynistic character and people love him. Yeah, I do love when we're talking misogynistic characters, aka Naya. That Naya always gets, like, really high in the popularity poll in Japan, and it's because just this one guy just, like, sends in a ridiculous amount every time. Speaking of pals, did you all see the Japanese shipping popularity thing for JJK? Wait, let me pull it up quickly. It's so diabolical. So bad. I think it needs to go. Let me find it quickly. And now I need to switch to this one. Yeah, there. Look at the state of this, guys. What the hell is this? Number 1, Gojo and Yuji. Number 2, Gojo and Megumi. Number 3, Gojo and Geto. 4, Geto and Gojo. Sukuna Yuji, Gojo Uzahime, Yuji Megumi, Megumi Yuji, Sukuna Megumi, Nanami Yuji. As you go down, you'll notice one thing. There's not a single woman on this goddamn thing. Of the top 20 ships voted for, there's only one woman on here, and it's Uzahime. That is literally it. It's absolutely diabolical, this. Not that it's gay. It's more that a lot of these are minors with adults. Or brothers. Like, we got some incest here. It's so bad. Yeah, I just wanted to show that because I found that so bad. Yeah, absolutely insane. That's Japan for you. Absolutely terrible stuff. Absolute scenes. Yeah, I found that very funny. Seth, this question may change your life. Shall I say it? Let it go, Stock Z's. Let's hear what you got to say. Which manga fandom is the most toxic in your opinion? Yours doesn't count. Most toxic fandom. This might be something no one would think. It's Spy Family, and it's Spy Family by a lot. And the reason I say that is if a Spy Family chapter comes out, and it is a comedy chapter, aka, in this comedy manga, or it's about side characters, and it doesn't just massively progress the plot, the Spy Family fans just get really bloody angry and have a go at the author. I see it all the times in the comments on Manga Plus. Spy Family fans are the most ungrateful assholes I've ever seen. They really are just horrible. So yeah, it's easily Spy Family because, like, those bits of the fandom are just horrible. They're terrible. That's my answer to that. What is the? Is My Hero? Nah, My Hero does have a bad answer to the fandom, but as time's gone on, I've grown to enjoy the My Hero fandom because they're just kids. They're just a load of, like, whiny. They're just a load of, like, really loud kids that haven't actually consumed anything but My Hero. But yeah, it's funny. Heavily recommend Amori, by the way, even if you're not a gamer. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. Dog, what the heck is this? Yeah, I know, right? I've seen YouTubers make that stupid argument. I'm like, no, this is just wrong. I'm too far back on messages to know what you're referring to, Weeb Guru, but I'd probably agree. Bruh, underage ships, so many of them. We only want men in my ships for real. The shipping poll is cursed, lol. I know, right? It's terrible. Fujiyoshi's be like, shipping is what ruins most media. Yeah. Speaking, JJK doesn't have much of a shipping fandom because the series just doesn't cater to it, whereas My Hero does cater to shipping because there are, like, intentional shipping moments, so it allows the fandom to have, like, some kind of faith that there is some, whereas, like, JJK, like, you don't see much shipping because the series doesn't really cater to shipping. But yeah, shipping can be fun. It depends on the fandom. I think in some fandoms shipping can be funny, but it really depends on the series. Make Wreck the Ragnarok shippers sense. No, Wreck the Ragnarok shippers are funny. Because it's just gay men having sex. That's all it is. Spy Family, when they read a comedy manga, new chapters, comedy focus. It is insane. If you've not seen this before, just go onto the Manga Plus app when Spy Family comes out and just look at the comments, and they're just horrible. It is insane. My Theory Season 3 will end with Megumi Reveal, which is chapter 213. But it ends with 215, which leaves 56, 58 chapters left. That's enough content for Season 4 with room to spare for filler. Yeah, it'd be nice too, but I think if they're going to end the season, they've got to do it on a bang. And I think the Megumi bang is like the bang you want to leave it on. Because I remember when that happened, and it was like, what? It just comes out of nowhere, and it's so good. I guarantee you the fandom is the reason Horikoshi didn't do Deku X Uraka, because he didn't want to deal with it. Yeah, that's fair. I'm doing a misogyny argument in Shonen Jump. Yeah, okay, yeah, I do agree with it. Yeah, I'm like the demographic is men go to shoujo if you want female leads. Yeah, that's. I think that is a fair thing, but then there are Shonen Jump. But there are Shonen Jumps with really good female leads. Like Undead Unluck has one of my all-time favorite protagonists of all time, Fuko. Fuko is an excellently written female character. Aries X Goal. No, Aries X Goal is so cursed. As a shipper, I always hate the toxic part of the fan. I always hate the toxic part of the fandom. It's stupid. I legit just want to put out some cute ships and get so much hate because people prefer another ship for others. Yeah, shipping becomes like really like toxic really fast. That's why some fandoms like the shipping is kind of fun. Like I like Wreck the Ragnarok shipping's funny because Wreck the Ragnarok shipping comes under the assumption that none of it's ever going to be canon and it's never going to be addressed in the story. So it's kind of fun. But as soon as they want something like My Hero, where there is genuine expectations that characters will get together in the epilogue parts and stuff, that it becomes difficult. Bleach Thousand Year Bloodwalk is finally coming this weekend. It is indeed. I'm curious to see what new stuff, because Kubo's really been deviating a lot in a lot of really good ways, and I'm so excited to see what he's going to cook for this ending, because like the ending isn't just not good as far as I'm concerned. That final battle is just like really ass. No, not gonna lie, I prefer shoujo over shonen nowadays. Oh yeah, I love a bit of shoujo as well. I like both probably equally. It's not like I like one more genre. It's just I like stories. I don't really care what genre they're in. Because like the one thing I said, that I've always been a fan of basically every genre. There's not been any real genre I've been opposed to consuming. One thing was horror, because I'm a pussy and I can't handle horror. But I have been going through and I've been watching a lot of older horror, and I've been enjoying a lot of horror. So I've just got to man up and actually consume it, because there's some really good like stories being told through horror that I just haven't had the balls to tackle. Can't wait for people to see how broken the Royal Guard is. Yeah. No one respects each other's opinions. That is fair enough. That's a fair statement in just the world in general. Remember when this was about JJK's ending? Oh well, if there's not much more to say, hey, we stayed on track quite a bit. We talked about it quite a bit. So I don't mind it. We are going to end stream fairly soon, just because, as I said, I'm going to be streaming in 2 hours with Pirate Diaries on his channel, and I want to have some dinner in between. So I'll probably be ending stream in the next like 10 minutes. So get your last kind of discussions in, and then I'm going to dip, and hopefully we'll be streaming next week for the Record Ragnarok chapter review. So yeah, get your last bits and bobs in. I agree, Seth. I just hate when you get female YouTube complain about it, but you don't see dudes complain about shoujo not having more male characters. Yeah, that is a very, very fair point. 1 minute. I've got to let the cat out. It has to happen once in the stream. Also, Blue Lock Season 2, baby. Hope they stick the landing. That trailer got me scared. I've not seen it. I've just heard things about it. As I've said before, I do read Blue Lock, but like Blue Lock just doesn't do it for me. I don't know why. It's because I like football a lot in real life, and Blue Lock doesn't. Like, if it was any other sport, that wasn't football, I'd probably love the series. It's just because I love football so much, and like one of my biggest, and like one of my big critics, like I value teamwork a lot in football. Like as someone who watches football, I value teamwork a lot, and I think the kind of like Blue Lock isn't an anti-teamwork story. That's not what the message of it is. That's not the whole point of Ego. But it just gets on my nerves because the way they play football in that, like, I don't think is representative of what good football actually is. So it annoys me. So that's the reason why I struggle with Blue Lock a bit. But that's only just personal bias because I'm a massive football fan. So that's the reason. I don't think the story's actually bad though. Your cat just looking directly into the screen. It was kind of chilling. Yeah, she is she's mellowed with the years, but she used to be an absolute bastard. She's very vicious. Have you read Frankenfran? Frankenfran. I have not even heard of Frankenfran. What is Frankenfran? Frankenfran is a manga. No, what the? They've got like, how many arms do they have? 3, 4, 5. They got 10 arms. What is this? Okay, this looks pretty fun actually. I'll put this on the list. I've never heard of this before, but this person's got like 5 arms in this picture. That sounds pretty insane. Asking is the most fair out of the royal cards. Yeah. Okay, but all I'm going to say is Percy Jackson having a similar ending in Tama is very uncanny to me. Yeah. I never thought about it that way, mainly because I couldn't remember what happened at the end of Percy Jackson, but it's very similar. I'm almost certain it's a coincidence, but it'd be very fun if, like, Togashi was, like, a fan of Percy Jackson. I'm pretty sure Gintama ended after Percy Jackson. I'm trying to remember when the manga ended. No, maybe not. I can't remember when Gintama ended the manga. Dragon Ball Daima, ReZero, Bleach, and 7 Sins this month. I'm eating good. Yeah, Daima, I'm interested to see what it is. ReZero, I'm really annoyed because when I was at Anime Expo in July, some of my other friends, they went and got to see the first 3 episodes of ReZero early, and I didn't make the line. Like I was too late joining them, so I didn't get to see it, and they were gassing up so much to me, and I was so annoyed. So I'm very excited for that. Bleach, yeah, going to be good. 7 Day Sins, yeah. The ending, because I used to read Four Nights of the Apocalypse a lot, and then I kind of dropped off at one point. Not intentionally, I just kind of forgot to read 1 week, and then I stopped. So I didn't actually I only got right before where season 1 ends, and the ending of season 1 is what a good cliffhanger. So, yeah, I'm very excited about watching that. This is about the shipping thing in Nomain. Someone made a shipping poll, and a character is so hated that when it was the controversial ship, Cersei OP just asked it, right? And so many people just bandwagon the stupid misogyny arguments. I'm going to have to make a video on this. You make a video on it. You tell those people. Oh, I'd say. Can't stop making them fuss. Ugh. Yeah, I know. You're a pain in the ass, aren't you? My last hot take, Sukuna over Madara. He didn't go out sadly, a plot device, and lived up to his aura hype. I don't think that's a goddamn hot take. I think that's a certified fact. Like, Sukuna, I always struggle with, like, my top 10 antagonists, because it becomes what I even define as antagonists in some stories. Shush cat. Yeah, it becomes hard to. I don't think Sukuna would make, like, my top 10 antagonists of all time, but he'd be highly up there. Sukuna is by far my favorite JJK character. I think he's excellent. Madara wouldn't probably even make the goddamn top 100. I remember Kakukayo's son. He does Shohori now against. Remember Kakukayo's son. He does Shohori now against Hanayama. Oh shit! Yeah, I think I'm a chapter behind on Baki Reihin at the moment. Gintama ended in 2019, Percy Jackson in 2011 or so. Yeah, I just couldn't remember like when Percy Jackson and Gintama ended. But yeah, it's something of a horror comedy, like with Junji Ito. The chapters have a shocking reveal at the end. It looks really good from like just the artwork I'm seeing. Reveal pillow already. Sadly not, because we're going to be ending stream in any minute now. I'm going to give for these last message about ending stream. So sadly, no one super chatted, so we didn't get to see the pillow. You're going to have to milk me if you want this goddamn pillow reveal. Okay, I'm going to go bye now. Well, good, because we're about to end stream. So thank you for joining, Joel. It was a pleasure having you on stream. Also, yes, it is him and the OP Beaches with a cool fan out of the character saying that he ain't allowed disrespect for him. Anyways, goodbye, yo. Yeah, great to have you on stream, everyone. PSU called Sorachi Togashi. Did I? Oh, I feel so bad. Sorry, Sorachi. Hey, getting called Togashi is at least a compliment. Makame, even though she's not a waifu, she's a darn good villain. Don't get a lot of evil female villains because society doesn't want to offend women. Makame is someone who'd make my top 10 antagonists of all time. She is impeccable. I love how My Hero Academia fandom is being gaslighted into believing Deku works at McDonald's. Yeah, he works at Burger King. Have you not seen the act? He works at Burger King, guys, not McDonald's. But yeah, very funny stuff. So yeah, I'm going to be leaving. The stream's going to be ending now. Thank you. Again, if you want to see my beautiful face in about just under 2 hours, then go check out Pirate Diaries channel for his stream, where I'll be joining him to discuss the One Piece arcs, their tier list or something like that. So if anyone's going to be joining me on that stream, I'll see you in 2 hours. If not, then I'll see you in next stream, hopefully sometime next week. Bye everyone. Have a